I can say with 100% certainty that if you do any of these things during your next Disney World trip, then your vacation will automatically be better because of it. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog. I always get nervous when it comes to saying you should always do something in Disney World because I know how different travel groups and families are and that not everything is the right fit for everyone, like a magical pair of jeans. And yet I can confidently say that this DFB video is a one-size-fits-all because everyone can benefit from every single point I'm about to make. But I'm not here to just tell you that. Let me show you why it's true. Let's say you're at Magic Kingdom and you're ready to start chowing down on some lunch at one of the quick services here. The problem is you've literally chosen peak dining times and it looks like the tables are starting to book up solid literally everywhere. Yeah, been there. Now, if your family needs to dine at a quick service right when the lunch rush strikes and you didn't pack your group a lunch ahead of time, then my main advice for you, specifically for Magic Kingdom, is to find the quick services that are 2 stories tall. Columbia Harbor House in Liberty Square and Pinocchio Village House in Fantasyland both have kind of second floor level tables. While both of the downstairs dining rooms can be noisy and crowded, people don't realize there are stairs to go up and there are tables to sit at up there. And so there's potentially going to be a lot more seating that doesn't get taken up as quickly if you go upstairs. Now, Pinocchio Village House does not have as much seating upstairs as Columbia, but it has some. Now, along the same lines here, if there's no place to go up in the quick service where you are, keep walking, because that's the other thing that I find everywhere I go in Disney restaurants or even cruise ships, is there are more places to sit. It's just people just stop at the first open table they see. So just keep walking. You will eventually get to a room that nobody's in or a room that doesn't have as many people in it. Now, it might be farther away from where you originally got your food, but just keep going. They have all these little rooms situated everywhere and you probably will find one. So I can tell you to prioritize certain multi-pass Lightning Lane selections for Disney's premium Skip the Ride line service until I'm blue in the face. But when it comes down to it, you need to make sure you know which Lightning Lanes are actually going to be useful before it's time for you to make those pre-selections. Now, we're going to get to that in just a second. For now, let me explain how to pre-select, right? You can pre-select up to 3 multi-pass Lightning Lanes before your visit, either 7 days before your hotel check-in day if you're staying on Disney World property, or 3 days before your visit if you're not. After you use one of your pre-selections, you'll be able to make another Lightning Lane selection immediately, right after, to keep a hold of up to 3 passes all day long. That being said, the more popular multi-pass options have the tendency to book up fast, which is why it's important to secure those before your visit. Now, we've got an entire free Lightning Lane guide at disneyfoodblog.com/multipass. That's going to show you which multi-passes tend to be the most popular and therefore book up the fastest. However, I will tell you this. Just because a Lightning Lane is popular doesn't mean it's necessarily the right fit for your group on your vacation. Like, sure, Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom is a good Lightning Lane to pre-select since it's your newer option and therefore will be a hot ticket. But do you really want to ride that water ride in the middle of winter when Disney World can actually get downright freezing at times? And honestly, if you do want to ride it in the middle of winter, nobody else does, and so you're not going to need a Lightning Lane for it because the wait time's going to be like 10 minutes. Now, Test Track in Epcot, that's a great multi-pass pre-selection. Again, the recent refresh has made it popular, but is your kid going to actually be able to reach the height requirement needed to ride this one? And Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom, not new, but one of the few rides available as a Lightning Lane at this park, is fine, but you can probably get on this without a long wait anyway. It's a puzzle, but one you can solve with a little extra research before you commit to booking a certain ride's Lightning Lane. Some Disney World park shows run all day long, like Enchanted Tiki Room in Magic Kingdom or Total Talk with Crush in Epcot. But many other park shows, especially the ones with live performers or fireworks effects, will only happen at select times throughout the day. So you're going to need to check your My Disney Experience app to make sure you don't miss them. But that's not the tip here, right? What's more important is that show times actually tend to change a lot, especially when the days start getting longer or shorter, or when Disney needs to adjust times to accommodate accommodate peak and non-peak travel seasons. So Fantasmic in Hollywood Studios could happen earlier in the evening, or it could happen later in the evening, or it could happen twice in a single evening. So don't ever rely on the showtimes that a performance has used in the past or when you were there before, because there's a high chance it may not be relevant during your specific visit. The 3 o'clock parade in Magic Kingdom isn't always at 3 o'clock. So check your My Disney Experience app at the very beginning of the day so you can learn the real showtimes and not miss out because you're relying on outdated information. I'm tired, literally tired of everyone telling me the early bird gets the worm because I like sleeping in, and I especially like sleeping in when I'm on vacation. But here I am becoming one with the early bird to tell you exactly how I got that worm. It doesn't get any less true as time goes by. If you're willing to get up early for rope drop, so that's park opening, or even earlier for early theme park entry, that's that extra 30 minutes before official opening time that you get to go if you're a Disney hotel guest, then this is going to be your best bet for knocking out popular rides minus the Lightning Lane purchases, which we'll talk more about later. Much like myself, a lot of other families enjoy their extra hours of beauty sleep too, and depending on your group, it might be better to sacrifice the shorter lines during those opening hours to make sure the whole group's nice and well rested and less cranky for the day. But that is exactly why lines are relatively shorter right at the start of the day. Not everyone's waking up before the sun to rush over to the parks, and that means those who do are going to have themselves a nice little head start and shorter ride lines. Staying later in the evening is also a great strategy for shorter wait times though, since families will need to start taking the kids back to their hotel rooms for bed. But there's always the gamble of a ride breakdown right before closing, which could crush your dreams of getting on a ride with little to no wait. If a ride has to shut down for maintenance purposes towards the end of the night, then it may not reopen again until the next day. But if there are technical issues going on for a ride in the morning, chances are cast members will be able to get it back up and running later on. So you still have that safety net to fall back on in case anything happens. So just to bring it back around to the main point I'm trying to make here, choose which days are going to be your early bird days beforehand, as well as which days are going to be your catch up on sleep days. If you know there are a lot of rides in a certain park you're going to want to knock out in a single day, like Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, then give those parks the early bird treatment. And if you're staying out late the night before, either for one of the holiday parties or an after hours event that can keep you in the parks well after the clock strikes midnight, plan to sleep in the next day so you're not dragging the rest of your vacation. Whatever the specific details might be for your trip, do that planning ahead of time so everyone in your group gets the rest that they need and knows what to expect. Wildly enough, the Disney Store website now sells a bunch of stuff you can get in the theme parks. So even when you're not in the parks, you can still get the same things you would get once you're back home, and for potentially at an even cheaper price point than you'll find in stores. That means you're going to want to take home something truly unique from Disney World that you can't find online. Here are a few of the one-of-a-kind options that you're going to find in Disney World, but not on the Disney Store website. You can find Magic Kingdom silhouette portrait artists in 2 different locations, either right outside Ye Olde Christmas Shop in Liberty Square or right outside Uptown Jewelers on Main Street, USA. So these artists create their designs with paper and scissors and your personal photographs as reference for a really one-of-a-kind piece of artwork handmade right in front of you. Speaking of Ye Olde Christmas Shop, if you're looking for something super original that no one else is going to have, you can get custom painted ears, buttons, and ornaments at the Disney Christmas shops starting at $3 to $5. The other Christmas shop is over at Disney Springs at Disney's Days of Christmas. Now, the customization will be $3 to $5. You still have to pay for the ornament or the ears or whatever you're going to get. There's no shortage of unique souvenirs in Epcot's World Showcase, from Venetian masks in Italy to personalized perfume bottles in France. You just step inside one of those pavilion gift shops and you're bound to find multiple things that the Disney Store website is not going to recognize. And on certain days around the resorts, you can take part in those custom craft activities that vary depending on which hotel you're at. This could include things like wooden board artwork at Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge, or African bangles at Animal Kingdom Lodge, or kukui nut lays at Polynesian Village Resort. So many other potential crafting opportunities that you can do with your family and bring home a souvenir. Unique souvenirs exist on Disney property everywhere, so if you really want to make sure you're taking home something you can't find online, just check the Disney Store website while you're in these gift shops. Disney World does have free Wi-Fi around property for its guests, so you don't have to worry about sucking away any data just to see if a pair of mini ears is on the internet or not. So you know how sometimes your phone will prompt you to make an update and you'll press the update later option because you want to scroll through TikTok before bed and you really don't want to wait around for your phone to do whatever it needs to become its best self? Yeah, Don't wait around to update your My Disney Experience app in the same way, especially if you're going to Disney World soon. If you open your My Disney Experience app and you see a little pop-up message first thing telling you that you need to update your app in order to take advantage of its new features, go ahead and do it. These updates tend to fix glitches and improve the app's performance, and there's also a lot of stuff that Disney introduces that you're gonna need to use when you're in the parks on your My Disney Experience app, and you definitely want to have access to that stuff before you go. So I always update my app like when I'm getting on the plane to go to Disney World every single time, just in case there's something in there that I'm gonna miss out on. Fact: the Orlando Sun hates phones and will attempt to melt them by the afternoon. Okay, not a fact, but a pretty common problem nonetheless. But here's a little behind the scenes action for you. During the first day of Epcot Food and Wine Festival, our DFB reporters kept a tally of how many times their phones died on them this year, while getting pictures and videos of the various food booth items. At the start of the day, things were fine, but by the time afternoon hit and we were at the heat of the day, everyone's phone overheated at least 3 to 4 times. Everyone's, and we have like 13 people in the park on that day. Now, our reporters do have to pull out their phones and use them a whole lot more than you'll probably need to during a Disney day, but that's not to say you're not still going to be using your phone frequently enough to at some point get that little "hey-oh, I'm getting a little too toasty" warning from your device. This might be even more of a problem for you if you've got a triple threat going on, recording something in the middle of the afternoon and while you're in the midst of recharging your phone with a portable battery. Might as well put your phone in the microwave on high at that point. So, what do the DFB reporters do when our phones are begging for mercy against the sweltering Florida sun? First of all, we have some sort of reusable cooling pack or cooling phone sleeve inside our park bags. These are great and they can be necessary. That way, anytime you're not using your phone, you can stuff it inside your bag and give it a chance to cool down and breathe for a bit. Also, if you want to record something on your phone, make sure your device is unplugged from those portable chargers. You can always plug it back in after you've captured whatever you want to capture. Speaking from many instances of personal experience on this one, nothing's quite as frustrating as when your phone shuts down on you in the middle of recording a video. Also, remember to keep yourself cool too. Find little air-conditioned pockets around the park, like at the gift shops and quick services or numerous side exhibits, to give yourself a little break from the heat, which will in turn give your phone a break from the heat as well. So Animal Kingdom is getting ready to enter into a major hot mess season, but we still love it and you should definitely still go. Animal Kingdom is one of the most unique Disney World parks in the world. You've got animals to see, one-of-a-kind rides to experience, including what I think is the best ride in all of Disney World, live shows to ooh and ah over. But between the entire Dinoland USA section closing by February 2nd to make way for that new Pueblo Esperanza area that's not going to open until 2027, and the fact that Animal Kingdom doesn't have a nighttime spectacular, so it tends to regularly close way earlier than all the other Disney World parks, like at 6 to 8 p.m., you're probably going to finish up with Animal Kingdom pretty early in the day, and you're going to have time to kill in the Disney bubble before you head back to your hotel to go to bed. Unless you're already wiped and the thought of retiring early sounds great to you. However, if you have leftover energy to burn, here are a few things you can do post Animal Kingdom Day. First, pay a visit to the nearby Animal Kingdom Lodge. AKL is the closest Disney resort to Animal Kingdom Park, so you can hop on one of the free Disney buses, take a ride over to this resort, and grab a nice dinner at one of the hotel's restaurants. No wrong answers there because they're all really good. You might also want to tack on a Starlight Safari and roam the Animal Kingdom grounds on a guided vehicle tour with a pair of night vision goggles to see the wildlife up close who call this resort home. This safari does cost extra, and you do need to make advance reservations for it before you go, but even if you're not staying as a guest at the resort, you're still more than welcome to book this tour if you want to check it out. Second option, head to Disney Springs. You might want to take a Disney bus to the Disney Springs shopping district to do a little window shopping or a little dining and snacking, because this is where I think the best restaurants in all of Disney World are, or even catch a free live performance or two, since outdoor performances tend to pick up as the evening goes on. You don't need any sort of park ticket to explore Disney Springs, and even if you decide to drive yourself over there instead of take the bus, it's free to park too. And best of all, many of the restaurants and bars stay open really late, like 11 p.m. or later. One of the latest bars you can check out on the Disney Springs scene is Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar, which serves a late night menu Sunday through Thursday from 10 p.m. to midnight, and Friday and Saturday from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Speaking of Disney Springs, you might want to get to one of the restaurants in time for the happiest time of day, happy hour. Select Disney Springs locations like Raglan Road, Paradiso 37, Summer House on the Lake, and more have a certain period of time where a selection of their apps and drinks will be half price or even less than that. We have all the different happy hours featured in our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World dining, as well as lots of full reviews, reservation advice, price ranges, pro tips. Basically, any questions you could ever have about Disney World dining is answered in this guide. So it's available right now at dfbstore.com, and you can also use the code YouTube before you check out to save money on your guidebook. And don't forget to pick up our free Lightning Lane guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/multipass. Third option for you, take an evening dip at your resort pool. This is always the option I take. In the heat of the afternoon, the feature pool at your Disney resort might look like a human cauldron of soup. But toward the end of the day, people tend to clear out as the sun sets and the kids are tuckered out from all that fun in the sun and they gotta take some showers and go to dinner. Usually there's not a huge temperature drop you'll have to worry about post-sunset, especially in the summer. But in the winter, when things may very well get brisk, don't stress about it too much because Disney keeps their pools heated year-round at a nice, comfy 82 degrees. I love hitting the pools after 5 p.m. because they're practically empty. I get them all to myself, and it's just a lovely time to watch the sunset from the pool or from the hot tub. And option number 4, you can park hop, of course. If you purchased park hopper tickets, then the answer for what should you do after Animal Kingdom Day becomes pretty clear. Just head over to another park and watch their fireworks. If you do decide to park hop, I'd highly recommend paying for park hopper tickets before the start of your trip instead of in the middle of it though. And that's because park hopper prices always cover all the days you've purchased park tickets for. So for example, even if you've already spent 2 days in the parks and you want to purchase park hopper tickets for the 3rd and 4th days, you'll still be charged park hopper add-ons for those days you've already used. Bummer, but the truth. So, what do you want to know from us before your next Disney World trip? How can you find free water in the parks? Go to quick services or type in water bottle refill stations in the My Disney Experience app search engine. What should you do if you suddenly have a headache or stomach ache but you didn't bring any over-the-counter meds? Track down one of the park's first aid centers for free sample-sized med packets. Where do you need to go to ride the best ride in the world? Magic Kingdom, Tomorrowland, People Mover, People Mover. Okay, I know I just said that Flight of Passage was the best ride in Disney World, but we all know that People Mover is exempt from all of those because it is the best ride in the world. Now, the DFB team and I are here to help you get prepped and ready for your upcoming vacation as much as we possibly can. But if you're inside the Disney bubble and you find yourself thinking, I wish I knew where this restaurant was located, or wow, I wonder why my Disney Experience app is totally glitching on me, or even, yikes, I don't know where to find my hotel's daily activities schedule, then your best bet for getting your questions answered once you're smack dab in the middle of it all is heading to a cast member and asking. Easy as that. That's what they're there for after all. They're on your team and they want to make sure you don't feel lost when trying to navigate such a big vacation undertaking. Even if the cast member you reach out to doesn't have the specific answers you're looking for, they should be able to point you in the direction of someone who does. Inside the parks, usually that's going to be a guest relations cast member, so if you just want to focus on asking these folks about your pressing questions, you can find them stationed around the park entrances and also under those little blue umbrellas around the parks. You might also want to use your chat feature located on your My Disney Experience app to answer some of the more general questions that might bubble up during your trip too. Just tap on the 3 horizontal lines at the bottom of your app screen and scroll down to the Chat with Us option and you'll be connected to an online cast member. Typically, if your question's a little more complicated, it's always better to talk to a cast member face-to-face about it, but this is a nice alternative option when you know the answer is going to hopefully be fast and easy and something you can get while you're already on the go. So when Disney says welcome home when you arrive at your Disney World resort, it's also up to you to make your temporary stay feel as homey as you can. And that means packing accordingly. Of course, you'll want to pack toiletries and clothes and swimsuits and all the typical generic vacation stuff, but you'll also want to bring the stuff that's more personal. That'll make your stay a lot easier on you. For example, if your kid has a favorite stuffed animal they sleep with, bring the stuffy and avoid the tears that could follow if the poor ratty thing accidentally gets left behind. And I can say that because my kid had 2 very, very ratty stuffies we had to bring everywhere we went. Now, Disney has very, very soft pillows you basically sink into like a big marshmallow. And if those are the kinds of pillows you prefer, great. But if you like a firmer pillow with a bit more support, then you can bring your own from home. Are you a light sleeper? Disney's hotel room walls are very thin, so having a white noise machine or a white noise app or even a pair of earplugs could be the difference between a good night's sleep and hearing every single thing going on in the room next door. And then there's me, who doesn't just love to sleep in, but also likes to stay up late and read things. And if I don't have my Kindle on me with the backlit screen and I have a physical copy of a book handy instead, there have been a few different times where I've had to escape to the bathtub to find a light source of some sort while my son sleeps away peacefully because not all of the rooms have reading lights or lights by the bed, especially not the value resorts or the moderate resorts. So I always try to have a reading light packed because, well, there's not always going to be a tub in a Disney hotel room, and even if there is one, no amount of Disney Marshmallow soft pillows can make a tub like that comfortable. Do you ever get unnecessary anxiety when you alert the theme park's walk-through security systems? Like, if I hear it buzz and the security cast member puts out their hand for me to stop right there, I always have that brief moment of like, did I pack something super illegal in my bag this morning? Even though I know what's probably triggering the system is my umbrella or my laptop or the metal tin holding my Altoids mints. Now, if you're carrying something metal or you've got a big piece of tech that you're bringing in the parks with you, like an iPad or a keyboard, a laptop, sometimes my Kindle sets it off. Just be sure to remove them from your bag and hold them out in front of you while you go through security. The machine will still beep, but hopefully security will be able to see what you're holding and wave you through. That being said, even if you do all the steps right, you still might have to go through a more thorough bag check before you're allowed in the park, and that's okay. We're glad Disney's keeping everyone safe, but man, I feel like I'm always setting off the sensors and getting a deep dive bag check, even though I'm carrying all my electronics and metal items and emotional baggage out in front of me. Everything I can think of. Alas, not the end of the world. It just takes a bit of extra time, so be prepared for that. If you've got like a dining reservation or a lightning lane coming up in like 0.7 seconds, just be aware that you probably need to get there a little bit earlier just in case you get flagged for a deeper dive bag check. If you've ever watched a Disney food blog video before, you've heard me warn you about how long it can really take to get from point A to point B on Disney World property. Yes, this place is as big as San Francisco. It's not a joke, it literally is. So I think it's about time I show you what I mean. Let's say you're at Art of Animation and you're traveling over to Epcot Park via Skyliner. First, you'll travel to Caribbean Beach Resort for a Skyliner transfer, which will take about 5 minutes. Not bad so far. Then you'll make the transfer to an Epcot-bound Skyliner cabin. Wait times during this transfer vary, but typically that's another 5-ish minutes, unless you're traveling at the beginning of the day, which could be a longer wait. Next, your cabin will travel past Riviera Resort. You don't have to get off at this stop, but that'll take you an extra 3 minutes to reach. And finally, the last leg of your Skyliner journey from Riviera to Epcot will be about a 10-minute venture. So, in total, your Skyliner trip from Art of Animation to Epcot will take you about 30 to 45 minutes, barring any super duper long lines. Disney bus travel times can be even longer than that. Not because of the distance itself, but because there are other factors at play here, like bus frequency, crowds, and traffic. A few examples for you. If you're staying at a value resort like All-Star Music, your closest parks are going to be Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, which are both about 15 minutes away, while Magic Kingdom and Epcot are about 20 plus minutes away. The moderate resort, Coronado Springs, is also closest to Animal Kingdom, about 10 minutes from it. However, if you're looking to travel to Magic Kingdom, it's going to be at least a 20-minute bus ride. And at the deluxe resort, Saratoga Springs, which is pretty much in Disney Springs' backyard, we're looking at the reverse of Coronado Springs when it comes to travel time. Magic Kingdom is about 10 minutes away, but Animal Kingdom is more like 20. Again, these are estimated travel times once your bus is already on the road, but I'm not adding in the bus stop wait, the loading process, or the potential bus loop you'll have to endure around your resort to pick up other hotel guests, which can all vary, but could very well be longer waits than the bus travel time itself. Now, if you're looking to hop on the monorail after you drive and park your own car at the Transportation and Ticket Center to get the rest of the way to Magic Kingdom, the resort monorail is about a 15 to 20 minute round trip, while the express monorail is half of that, but might also be a longer line to wait in at the start of the day. How about the boat times? Ferry boat between the Transportation and Ticket Center and Magic Kingdom is about 10 minutes, but it does take an additional 10 to 15 to load passengers and another 5 to 10 minutes to unload. Boats between Magic Kingdom and the nearby hotels like Grand Floridian and Polynesian Village on one route, Fort Wilderness on another route, and Wilderness Lodge on a route after that, are all about 10 to 15 minutes once underway. And the Friendship boat between Epcot and Hollywood Studios is about a 30-minute commute, since you'll make multiple stops at Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, and Swan and Dolphin. All of this to say, there is a reason I'm always telling you to budget at least an hour for transportation, no matter where you're traveling. That may seem excessive, but you gotta remember this isn't just about the travel time. There's the waiting, the loading, the traveling itself, the unloading. And then once you find you get to these parks, you gotta stand in line to go through security, stand in line to scan into the park, and finally walk inside the park to wherever you're going, which I promise if you're late for something, it will be the farthest point from you at the moment. it. So take it from me, who's been late plenty of times for Lightning Lane windows and dining reservations simply because I underestimated Disney distances despite the fact that I have been there hundreds of times. When you plan your vacation itinerary, budget in those travel times and consider how long it's actually going to take you to reach things around property. I'll get off my soapbox now. If you've been to Disney World before and you're planning on returning either super soon or soonish or sometime in the distant future, just know that the Disney World you stepped into before will never be the same Disney World you return to. It's like the old saying, you can't go home again. I mean, sure, there'll still be parts of Disney that feel as familiar as the back of your hand, like floating through the Living with the Land farmhouse scene in Epcot, or riding the Wildlife Express from Africa to Rafiki's Planet Watch in Animal Kingdom, or getting scared silly when the lights flash off during the Tower of Terror pre-show in Hollywood Studios. But there will be parts of the parks that are heavily under construction to the point they're unrecognizable. Much like we're experiencing in Magic Kingdom's Frontierland right now, with all the construction leading to the new Cars-themed Piston Peak area and the future home of Villains Land. Or there will be new attractions replacing the old ones, like how Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom replaced Splash Mountain in 2024. Or there'll be revamped versions of old attractions, like Test Track 3.0 just opened in Epcot this past summer, so it's not going to be the same as the last test track that you rode. And maybe there'll be full-on permanent closures with no replacements yet. Look, I'm not here to overwhelm you, I'm here to do the exact opposite. The reason the DFP team and I do what we do is to keep you in the loop, even when Disney decides to switch gears on us. So set those expectations, keep coming back to the DFP YouTube and social pages for those regular park updates, and don't plan a trip to Disney World assuming you already know how everything works, because something is bound to take you off guard. Every time I go to Disney World, I learn something new, and I try to share it with you here on DFP Guide. All right, ready to do a 180? Now that we talked about the always do's, how about we look into the never buys next? Be sure to check out our DFP video titled Never Buy This in Disney World. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'll see you real soon.